All right, let's begin. So, to dive right in, if you are in the financial markets, if you are in the crypto space specifically, you know what's happening right now. And for those who are not, there is a centralized exchange that is at risk, hopefully low risk from what I hear, but at risk nonetheless of insolvency. And if that occurs, a lot of depositors are going to lose all their collateral, their life force. They're going to essentially go bankrupt. Some of them. Myself personally, has willfully, knowing all the signs of the dangers of centralization and actually embodying that in a project that we're working on to try to mitigate the excesses of the nonsense spewed out of the face holes of the corporate press, we understand the importance of earned sovereignty and self-custody, and yet myself have been a hypocrite. So I am wrong. I put 4/5 of effectively is my net worth in the form of digital assets into a centralized exchange, knowing that doing so creates, embodies or has a risk, a single point of failure risk. And we're seeing that today. And hopefully it's corrected. So this could be a watershed moment. Can it be corrected? Who's going to correct it? How's it going to be corrected? Or is it going to fall? Are these people going to lose their collateral? If it does, what's going to happen? For me, myself personally, I lost 4/5 of what took me 20 years to build. Whose fault is it? Is it their fault or is it my fault? And that's one of the themes of this 10-minute or less video, because I want to get down to brass tacks here. It's my fault. It's my fault. Because for the last 3 years, ever since I sold my position in my former company, it was a life science multinational, I loved it, did a lot of cool stuff. So I earned this capital and I need to figure out what the heck to do with it, right? So I learned about some of the financial markets, and then I got really interested to this emerging tech. I know I'm speaking fast because we're trying to keep this short. So BTC Maxis, Bitcoin versus cryptocurrency. Let's separate it, right? There's confusion amongst the people, and this is a problem, and it should be rectified by the community itself. So Bitcoin is, let's say, the soundest money, is the best we can come up with to come up with money that is true. That is a fixed supply. We know where it is. We know who has it. Not the person, but the wallet. We can track the whales if we want to and everything, but there's complete transparency. But the point is that it's built around decentralized governance. It's highly encrypted. It's hard to screw the system, let's put it that way. And the more miners we have, proof of work miners we have, in my opinion and the opinion of people in the know, this POW system, which allows for the democratization of governance, right, which allows for people, let's say a few very wealthy individuals who have a different idea of how the common people should live, could then unilaterally impose that. No, that doesn't happen in Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is the opt-out. If you're a freedom believer, you're a buyer in Bitcoin, no matter the price, right? Now, you can't put yourself into a position where you can't protect your family. So obviously you put your money that you can lose into this market. It's in its infancy, despite it being the best recurring asset in the best performing asset in the last decade. And it's going to continue to be so, no matter the blood in the streets at the moment. Good time to buy, not financial advice, not a financial whatever, guy with a license. But certainly know how to lose money, apparently, if this thing goes down. Right, so let's keep on going. What we see in the crypto sphere is an example of the temperamental divide between people that's been with us forever, the yin and the yang, order and chaos. So let's take it down back into practical terms. We have conservatives and we have liberals. We're seeing conservatives who are very interested in earned sovereignty, as they should be, and liberals who are very interested in creating and innovating. Now, here's the thing that is left out of the story for some reason, and so I'm going to remind everybody what it is, because it looks like we need reminding. The left and the right need each other integrally in order for A, innovation to occur, and B, for the trains to run on time. Without the other, the utility fails and it's all useless. So the problem is that we're pointing fingers. We're not saying I'm responsible for whatever external condition may happen. If the locus of control is internal or external, your first response should be, who's responsible? How did I contribute? And then what is the external force that may have had some kind of impact? So in this case, I willfully ignored the people who are most reputable, who speak the truth. Let's define the truth, so we define our definitions. Minus the excesses on both sides, towards the middle, the truth is one which speaks words, and in doing so knowingly incurs costs that he wouldn't have otherwise had to. He does so because he has principles, he has conviction. This is a man or woman driven by the will to virtue. This is different from this postmodernist idea that is being championed right now by a radical sect that has come up and gained prominence and propped up by the fallen corporate press, who is not our friend. Mince no words, or however it is, make no mistake. They don't have your best interest at heart. And they're not telling you the truth. And there is no your truth. Your truth is your opinion or your preference or your so-called lived experience. You don't impose that on other people. This is America, the land of the free. It's going to stay America, the land of the free. But it's up to us to make sure it stands America, the land of the free. And it starts with taking personal accountability. So personal accountability, I willfully ignored the people who spoke the most truth. And so it's on me. Now, I hope it works out. Obviously, I don't want to be poor. But at the end of the day, it's on me. So first we start looking inward. Second, we can look outward. Okay. How did they contribute to it, so on and so forth, how transparent or whatever they're doing behind the scenes. This can be looked at and hopefully revealed with time, and safety measures, precautionary measures, safeguards put in place to prevent cascading liquidations and shutdowns and so forth. But effectively, when you have a centralized exchange, you have unilateral governance, number one. And often, with this specific one, I think it's done in the interest of the community, but this is speculation, right? Number two, we need systems that are transparent, and if we are, let's say, stakeholders, consumers, or shareholders, people who are actively putting deposits into it, we need to make sure that the system is sound and is driven by sound value, okay? Bitcoin is sound value. The Ethereum universe is this beauty of innovation that is honestly limitless, and I cannot even tell you how its max limit can represent itself because there's no way to know. It's going to continue to build over time, and right now the great danger is that these rails, this substrate, this kind of a series of contracts in this trustless system is moving away from proof of work into a proof of stake based on ESG claims that proof of work is bad for the global climate. I'm going to claim it's not. I'm going to claim that's baloney, but I'm not going to support that claim right now. What I want to tell you is this, is Ethereum will remain high integrity if it does not kowtow to ESG. Period, end of story. It will be truthful if it incurs cost on behalf of themselves on principle that blockchain ethos is decentralization of governance. Okay? Silly internet money, whatever you want to call anything about ETH, or about whatever else is in the crypto sphere, Bitcoin is the truest form of asset, money, however you want to conceive of it, perceive it. And Ethereum right now is the most popular, the most has the most amount of liquidity, and has a lot of developers who are very familiar with the knowledge. So a lot can happen there. And that means that we can sidestep corrupt institutions on Ethereum. But it should be fueled by BTC. Because if it's not fueled by truth, if it's not fueled by a fixed supply that you cannot manipulate for the interests of a few at the expense of the many, then what we're building is like a technocracy, right? Or a virtual oligarchy of sorts that says, if you have $1 million, you have a say. Do you have $1 million? Do you personally have $1 million? No. You want to go on Ethereum right now? Want to go over to POS, yes or no? The answer should be no, but that's on you, right? I mean, maybe you think the world's going to end and the sky is falling, in which case, probably look into the IPCC reports and see what's going on, and perhaps be open-minded about reinterpreting whatever you've heard from the corporate press. They do not have your interests in mind. I don't care if you're a conservative or on the left. I don't care. As a default New York City classic liberal, I'm somewhere in between and think this whole thing is ridiculous. So we need to short circuit the culture war. We can't fight the supranationals. We can't fight the government, because whatever we do has to be done legally and in good faith, and it must be done for cooperation. So to end this is a call to cooperation between the BTC maxis and the people highly vested in Ethereum's merge to a POS. Okay, that understand the risks that are happening. Take aside ESG. Push that aside right now. We'll talk about that later. Do not force someone to change the way with which their innovation was meant to be presented to the people with which they want to bring out of meaningless suffering. So BTC fuels Ethereum in a way that someone will have to figure out will not adversely affect Ethereum holders. That's on you. I hope that this inspires a little bit of insight to look inward and say, okay, I'm responsible for my own actions. And if someone else is responsible after I've done my internal work, we'll figure it out. But apart, pointing fingers at one another, once we've figured it out and we realize that there may be external circumstances outside of our control determining our own outcomes, then we have to band together. Because apart, do I need to explain? Turn on a television, or that doesn't exist really. Turn on Rumble, right? Go on Rumble, take a look. Be honest with yourself and start by being truthful. That's it. My name's Mike. I'm out. Prepare for a video in 3 weeks.